In a world dominated by people exerting the wrong effort, here are three middle aged, possibly overweight guys to the rescue. It's time for us to get the ball rolling on any and every discussion that we can possibly think of. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the first episode of the Burp, the BRP, the ball's rolling. Gentlemen, welcome. Here's a little bit of house cleaning duty. We're going to start with introductions. Welcome, everyone. Billy, here you go.
Hey there. Yeah, I'm Billy. Let's see, aka Bildo, aka Wild Bill, aka my bowling alter ego, Beef Tip.
Beef tip.
I'm Luca, aka Luca, aka Luca.
Tim Dillard.
Yeah. Any famous baseball player with a beard?
With a beard.
Jake Arrieta, Tim Dillard, Archie Bradley, you name it. Get confused as them, sign the autographs, take the photos, shake some babies. Good times.
Good times. I am T West. What's going on? AKA T West. Nothing special here. Just a 90s fan of everything. Still stuck in the 90s, but just love being able to talk. So here we go. Fellas, what are we drinking?
All right. Hey, so what you guys got? I got nice Arizona lager, I think. It's a blonde ale called Baja Girl. So it was the most expensive beer I could find in the discount area. Boom. Nailed it.
Nice.
That's a win.
Got your standard Coors Light.
Nothing wrong with that.
Nothing wrong with that. That's a staple in everyday life. I got the Corona Premier. Not quite what Dom Toretto would drink, but I feel like I could sit at his table if I drank it. So,
right. And real quick, does Miller Lite taste different now, or is it just me? Did it change? Have you guys had a Miller Lite lately? It don't taste the same.
I'm sticking with the Rockies. I can tell you.
I feel like it tastes the same. I mean, I get the Miller High Life, so I don't know much about
High Life is solid. That's what I've switched over to.
So our bowling league has 250 tall boys, so it's like can't go wrong with that.
So that means what? PBRs are like 50 cents each?
Throwback Thursdays, they're actually $3. So
what?
Yeah.
Damn hipsters ruined that for everybody. Now we can't enjoy PBR anymore.
No, you could also go with the Bush Latte at bowling too. That's also
right. Have you guys tried the new flavored ones like the apple or the pumpkin bush or any of those? I haven't ventured out.
No,
I kind of stick with the Coronas with the limes or the High Lifes, or otherwise it's whiskey old fashions.
Oh yeah, hard liquor. It's going to get you there a lot quicker.
Absolutely.
Right. Well, shoot. Speaking of bowling league, let's dive right into that. T West, you just tore it up the other night in the other league, but how is your guys' league going?
Yeah, go ahead, Billy.
I mean, obviously it can always be better. I mean, we're kind of at the bottom here, but it's a handicap league, so a lot of it depends on who's having a good night. I'll say me personally, I personally been killing it. Like I've bumped my average up, 20, 30 points. So I'm pretty solid there, and that's the plan. My plan is to just keep getting better. And now that we're in this sanctioned league where we have to pay all these dues or whatever, I want to hit some tournaments, dog. I want to do some weekend stuff where I can enter some tournaments, win some money, and maybe get a trophy.
Oh, we definitely need to get in tournaments for sure.
Yeah.
From shooting hoops and playing ball all the time to throwing a ball and drinking beer.
It's like the old man sport.
It's the old guy sport.
We're in that little cusp of where it goes from super athletic to I can do this with a beer in my hand, so why not?
Right. I mean, we put our effort in when we were younger. There was a lot going on back in those days. So,
yep, my body's thanking me for it right now. What's your guys' record?
So it's not like a win-loss thing. Like you gather points. You gather for every point that you win. So we can get 7 points on any Saturday. If you win the game against the other team, it's 2 points per game. Then if you win the series, like you have the most pins knocked down in the series, you get 1 point for that. So you can get 7. And I was just looking on League Secretary today, actually just a little bit before here, and I think we bumped up to like we're middle of the pack. We're like 8th or 9th place right now. So we're on what, a 2 week 6-game winning streak.
Mm-hmm.
So we've been kind of killing it that way.
Yeah. And 2 things I want to bring up about bowling. First, Luca, do you know what the 5-pin rule is?
I just know you drink or you do a shot or something like that, but isn't like the 5-pin where it's still like staying up and everything?
Exactly. You go, you knock all the pins down except that 5-pin. Everybody puts their hands up on both teams. If you miss, you have to buy everybody a shot. And the funny thing on that is that last time that happened to us, and I'm notorious for missing the 5-pin. I mean, TOS is a gangster when he hits his, like that's money every time. But when we are missing, other teams that we weren't even playing with were jumping in on the mix, and we ended up just having like the greatest time. But their mystery shot, there's always like this like gnarly liquor that is like wrung out dishwater or like this hodgepodge mix of stuff that they're trying to get rid of. So it's always gross.
Yep.
So Key West and Katie actually now bring little of like the old smoky whiskey, so we're actually taking good drinks of stuff.
Nice.
So it makes it fun. It makes it cool. We're the fun team, so everybody likes bowling with us because we're like the rowdy, nice bunch. So it's great. So the second thing I want to bring up is T West probably wouldn't say it himself, so I have to. He almost had a 300.
Oh, it was close. It was close.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, a couple weeks ago was a 279. I had it was a really good run, man. I was really excited for it. But hey, I ended up getting a 700 that week. Was really happy. That was my third 700 of my life, so it was kind of cool.
Damn.
And this was like one of my first weeks back since my finger injury, so it's kind of like cool to be able to throw right-handed again. So no, it's been a ton of fun though. Like, this is our 3rd year doing it, right, Billy?
No, I think it's like 4th.
Is it our 4th?
Damn.
Dang, I can't believe it's been that long already.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, we to Billy's point, like we're one of those teams that everybody kind of just like they see us, they're all like hanging around, and everybody, whether they're laying on each side of us, they'll come in and they'll put their hands up on 5 pins. We'll do the same to them, and everyone's good on it. If you miss, all right, we're getting shots, But yeah, we do little flights now of the old smoky cookie dough. It helps so much.
Oh yeah, I saw that photo.
Yeah, man, that I'm not gonna lie, that wrung out dish soap, water, whatever that stuff is, man, it's so bad, and it hurts. Like it hurts right away. So
it's like everything that was in that fucking mat at the end of the day. They're like, "Hey, tomorrow's shot." They just wring it out in there.
Yeah.
Oh, so gross.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh.
So we bowl this Saturday. We'll try to keep our winning streak going. I haven't seen who we bowl yet, so I don't think they came out with it. But maybe it'll be the house pros, and they'll just smoke us anyway. So.
Yeah, the house pros, they're all business there. They don't partake in any of that stuff, and they're there to bowl, and they're there to get their 300s. They're there to just clean up and collect their winnings at the end of the year and be on to the next. So maybe one day they'll be us, but not right now.
No, it's too much fun. Just getting together, having some beers, making friends with the people next to us. I like it.
Yep.
Right. That's badass. Speaking of which, beers, Thanksgiving. We just had Thanksgiving on Thursday. What happened with everybody? What'd you guys do?
So mine's quick. My kids weren't feeling great, so we kind of kept everything low key. Both kids they had a cough. It's been kind of lingering, so we kept it low key. Had the basic turkey, stuffing, mashed potatoes. All was good. It was fun. We played a lot of cards. But man, that was about it. The biggest takeaway I'm learning from Thanksgiving now, I'm moving away from turkeys. I'm going to start smoking brisket.
Oh,
nice.
Can't go wrong there.
Brisket, pulled pork, something with a little bit more fun, a little more taste. And we're going to do that on Thanksgiving instead, I think. So that's it for me.
Smoking brisket. I was smoking it.
Yeah.
Nice.
That's awesome. What about you, Billy?
So for me, Olivia and I went to her aunts and uncles in Burlington. It's a nice, all the relation was there. They host every other year, and it was a good time. A lot of people, a lot of food. I'm kind of with T West. I'm a little over the turkey, so I kind of went for the ham. You know,
Mhm.
we were there from, let's say, what, 12:30 to 6ish. I was home in time for the Packer game, and then from there, Olivia and I, we hung out with the doggo, put on sweats, and watched the Packer game.
Nice, nice. You made it home in time for the snap?
Oh yeah.
Nice.
There you
Well,
go.
for me, it's the same thing every year. Go to the in-laws. It's actually one of my favorite holidays now because the food is just like it's like going to one of those high-end restaurants that just does Thanksgiving, and it's so good. Like this year, they did a Mexican citrus turkey. Like they mix it up every year, so I don't get sick of turkey. They go to cut into it, it squirts all over. Crazy stuff. The ham we do. V, of course, does the world famous mac and cheese, which is out of this world. Carrots, sweet potatoes, like you name it, green beans, mashed potatoes, like the whole entire countertops going all the way around the place are completely loaded up. It is
Ooh.
just best food ever. It's great because I get to watch the Cowboys lose every year. Um, this year, not so much, but
Yeah.
hey, it's still fun to harass them and all that good stuff and be around family. And this year we had a guest, Billy, your sister, and your parents. They were down in Arizona, so ended up inviting them over. They didn't say the food was mid, that's for sure.
They told me the food was mid.
Nah, you lied.
No,
You lied
I'm
so
kidding. I'm
much.
kidding. They said it was a great time. They're very appreciative that they got the invite since they had nowhere else to go with just getting situated there. And I know they just really appreciated the hospitality. So my mom did say that it was really weird not cooking, that she's used
Yeah,
to the one doing the cooking, doing the hosting, doing all that. So she said it was a strange feeling being on the other side of it, being a guest. So they
right.
really enjoyed it. And from what you said, my dad was a riot. So I can only
He's
imagine the stuff he
invited
was
back
saying.
every weekend now. Like I think he just might be a part of the family now. He's just out there living his best life with all of them.
Yeah, I can imagine.
So I'm going to interject here just because you made me laugh with the whole cowboy thing. You know, it's like, can we just talk a little bit about the Thanksgiving football games? What do
Most
you guys think
definitely.
about that? All right, let's talk about that. Let's start with game one on the docket was what? The Lions and Bears?
Oh my.
Yeah.
I don't know what to
Uh,
say about that. So
I'm a Packer fan for life. I find myself rooting for the Lions. I just, our whole life, who would have ever thought you'd see that horrible franchise be good?
yeah.
Comical. The Bears, poor clock management. Coach
Oh
gets
man.
coach gets shit canned, whatever, a
Yeah.
day later, 2 days later, whatever. It was laughable to watch that.
Right.
It really was. I mean, you had 30 seconds there in field goal range. Quick call a play, run a play. You still have what 25 seconds to bring your kick team on. That's plenty of time to get your field goal team onto the field. But instead, nothing. It's like that's high school right there. I
Mhm.
kind of feel like.
Yeah, it was
Yeah,
bad.
I'm looking it up right now. It was the end of the game that was so messed up. So like I looked, I'm like, oh, okay, they're moving that ball down the field and just had a great catch. All of a sudden I look up again and I see him throwing to their end zone. I'm like, ooh, okay, well, we got a couple more shots. And they're all walking off the field. I'm like, wait,
Yeah.
what happened? They had a timeout. They didn't call it? Like what happened? It was nuts. And just like that was over. Done.
So this is going to be a quick little nugget for a little segment I'm going to do in a little bit, but history in the NFL tends to repeat itself. Sometimes faster than usual. Sometimes it takes 30 years. Sometimes it takes 15 years. But if you look back, the GM and the head coach that hired Mitch Trubisky fired. Then so they drafted Mitch Trubisky, then they got fired. And then he had another person the next year. Same thing with Justin Fields. And now this year with was it Eberflus is his name? Yeah, Matt Eberflus. Right? They drafted Caleb Williams. He's fired. So they're in this cycle right now where it's GM, coach, quarterback, fire the coach, new coach, doesn't like the guy, new quarterback, fire the head coach. So they're just history is repeating themselves, and just keep that little nugget for later in our one of our segments coming up.
Interesting.
Fascinating.
Mm-hmm.
I'm intrigued. Yeah, that game was just. I mean, it was, at first you just didn't think like the Bears are going to do anything, and the game was over, and then they came back, and then just a shit show. That was that. Then what? Round 2 was Cowboys versus Giants. I don't really watch the Cowboys. I just make fun of them.
Yeah.
But my sister-in-law definitely. Yeah, right. My sister-in-law definitely made sure to come on out and talk some trash. Look at us, we're scoring. I'm like, it's about time. Like, what's your record?
It's the Giants. Come on, the Giants have the number 1 pick in the draft right now. Like,
drafting a quarterback.
Yeah, right. Is that where Shadour's going? I don't know. Is it Shadour? Is it Cam Ward? Who knows? But
yeah, I don't know enough about NCAA football anymore with the NIL stuff, so don't pay attention to it too much. But yeah, I guess the Cowboys won. Are they going to make the playoffs? Probably not. Like, you need Dak. So
they're just not going to make the playoffs.
Yeah, that great defense is finally showing up like week 13, week 12, whatever. They're done for. But then there was this amazing game, this absolutely amazing game, just amazing team that's come out of nowhere, super young. The Packers versus the Dolphins. I just like watching Mike Daniels. That's it. And then watching the Packers just stopped. It was good. It was a feel-good story we all needed.
It was a good game. And, I'll tell you, T. West and I, we had conversations that our other team we root for are the Finns. So we always talk about it, that it'd be really cool to see Packers, Dolphins, Super Bowl one day. So it was kind of cool to see. Obviously, the game starts. You know who we're rooting for. But it was cool to see. I was expecting a better game, but, it's always nice to see the Packers clean up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it just shows the narrative is still true. Unfortunately, with the Dolphins, though, they're just not going to win in cold games. They just wasn't going to happen. Looking back, the biggest thing I'll take away from that, though, was how sweet were those throwback uniforms for the Dolphins.
Oh yeah.
That was hitting on a different level.
Yeah.
But my goodness. Oh, the other thing. Okay, here's an actual thing from the game. Sorry. The Packers' pass defense struggled against Tua. Tua was looking good after the first quarter. Into the second quarter, I mean, he still threw 350 yards against us.
Did he? Oh.
It could have been
many.
Yeah, he had 350 yards. He was like 30-something to 40-something passing. He had a pretty high completion percentage, 2 touchdowns, no picks, I think, because I think they just had fumbles.
Yeah, he didn't throw enough to Tyreek Hill.
Oh my God. I was lucky. I started him, and he got that tipped pass in the end zone, so I was okay with that. But big thing was just the uniforms. Such a visually appealing game to watch.
What year were those Dolphins jerseys from? Was that like? I mean, I see the helmet in that style. Like, right away, I think of Dan Marino, because like that was like what that logo was, Dolphin jumping through the hoop or whatever. But what?
Yeah. So that actually goes back to I believe it's the 1970s Dolphins.
Oh,
with like Bob Greasy and Larry Zonka, all them guys, Mercury Morris. I don't know if those were the uniforms for the undefeated
team. Year, right?
I think so. Yeah. Someone can fact check us on it.
It would make sense.
70s era uniforms.
Nice. What was the undefeated year? Was that 69?
72. 72 or 76.
Oh, okay.
I can look it up, but yeah, it's
one of those years. Bigger.
So, only team to finish the whole year undefeated in the Super Bowl era. The Patriots went 18-0, so they had a perfect regular season, but then somehow you lose to the Giants again. It's like
the better Manning.
I remember watching that game, where I was, who I was with, and just thinking I was going to see history be made with that, and then that happened. Now, Patriots, it's hard. It's hard. I'm not a fan of either team, so I couldn't care less one way or the other, but you kind of want to see that perfection. You kind of want to see the upset. I mean, I can live with it.
Yeah. I did want to see Randy Moss win one, you know.
I did too, but I was also okay that he didn't. I mean, because he's still a Minnesota Viking.
You know, and that's the thing too. You grow up as a Packer fan, you hate the Vikings. Me personally, I dislike the Vikings more than the Bears. I think it's just because they gave the Packers more run for their money growing up. They had that good dominant team. And, you know, it's like you have one of the greatest receivers ever to do it, arguably the best. And he's on the team that you just mega load. See, at the time, it's like you're just a young kid and you can't appreciate how good he really was.
Exactly.
Right.
With the quarterback like Dante Culpepper throwing to him, making him look like a superstar.
Yep.
So you can't appreciate how good Randy Moss really was because I'm too pissed off that he's fake mooning the crowd and just dominating their defense and shit. So it's just like, looking back, it's like I wish I could have been the adult version of myself where I could have at least appreciated it. And then I finally start to do when he's on the Patriots, when I don't care one way or the other about the Patriots. I was like, to see him have that magnificent season.
Yeah.
We're just like, holy shit, he's really good. And I never really noticed it. So
he set an NFL record for touchdowns by a wide receiver with 23. Never been done. May never be done again. Who knows? But
right.
To your point,
it was like the only time that Tom Brady threw like a pass over 30 yards consistently.
He knew all he had to do was throw it down the field and he'd catch it. Randy Moss would be there and catch it.
Right.
Well, I mean, that's what a seventh rounder from Michigan will do for you. Sixth rounder, whatever he was, 199.
Yeah.
So,
well, you know, I have the same question. Justin Jefferson is such a great receiver. And am I just is it repeating myself for me? Because it's like I don't want to watch, I don't care because I just don't like that team. Right. But you can't hate on the fact of what he's doing. Although he's on my fantasy team, on one of my fantasy teams, and he not doing well for me the past 2 weeks. But they got something good going on. But
to your point, Justin Jefferson, the fact that he's on the Vikings, I think I'd like him a lot more if he wasn't on the Vikings. And to your point, back when growing up, there was the Vikings that were pushing us, right? Beating us up in the 80s. But now they just take all of our sloppy seconds.
Right.
It's like, can you guys just go somewhere else, please?
Right.
So Aaron Jones was undoubtedly one of my favorite Packers. He's still one of my favorite people. Mm-hmm. But right now, and the fact that he went to the Vikings just to play the Packers 2 times a year, like, that's why you went there? Like, I get it, but come on. You know?
Out of spite. Yeah.
Yeah.
And circling back to the whole Justin Jefferson, like, to your point, like, after watching wide receivers and seeing him on the Netflix show, like, I'm like, man, he's like super humble. He's such a badass dude, but like, man, just don't play against the Packers. Just take the week off. And thankfully this year, like, kind of did in the first game. Like, he didn't do too much. And I'm okay with that. Like, okay, you got your 2 catches for like 17 yards. That's all you need. Whatever. You showed up. You were here today. You participated. But don't do anything else. Like, and you don't want to see the guy get hurt either. That's the one thing is being an adult. Like, you don't want to see people get hurt. Like, Tua getting concussed every other game. Like, that, like, ouch. But you still want him to just, yeah. You're not as much of a dickhole growing up. You're not like, I hope he gets his hand cut off. You see some outrageous stuff as a little kid, like, screaming at the TV, and your parents are like, whoa, we got a serial killer here.
Did anyone else's parents be like, hurt him? Like, they just would constantly scream at the TV, hurt him, take out his knees. It's like, holy shit, it's dark. Knock it off,
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
How about we just tackle the guy?
Right.
Yeah. But no, hurt him, take out his knees. Like, that's mean.
Bring him down
you
safely.
see the intros, the old intros where, like, every single one was a penalty or a flag. Like, boom, like, dude's head just got ripped off. Like, there's nothing there. And they're like, oh, that was a normal hit.
Yeah, let it go. It's all good. It's all clean.
Right? Today it's like instant CTE. You're like, done.
Yeah.
I get it. Like, football has gotten to a point where it's so fast, and the people are just like, they're like hybrids. They're half machine, half person, and like Trevor Lawrence this weekend, for example. He got knocked out to a point where his hands were stuck in positions, and that's a different type of concussion, and You worry about that, but these guys have literally a split second and they're coming full speed. It's hard to maybe pull up. I haven't had that I haven't had to live that part, like I played offense when I played football. I didn't play defense because I just didn't want to. But I didn't have that. So I can't say how this guy, could he have held up? Could he not have? It was a split second decision. I know he apologized. And all in all, you don't want to see anybody get hurt. And it's this day and age, I think you almost do have to take precautions, and the game did have to change the way it changed.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, going back, even with high school, though, remember Andy Loken? The guy, he got nailed like every single game, and he was the nicest dude. He was super well educated and everything like that. But like, oh man, like it was at that point, like we laughed back then, but you think about it, like, man, I hope he's okay to this day. I don't even know where he is or what he's doing or anything like that. But I just remember him walking through the hallways. I'm like, dude does not know what's going on. Like he got rocked last night. We were at the game, like laughing about it, but it's now laughing matter now, especially when we see it firsthand.
Yeah. Well, back then though, that wasn't such a top of mind thing. I mean, look at the players that, took their own lives or are around now and have serious mental health issues. You look at Junior Seau, you look at Antonio Brown. It's just like, it's a real thing. My concern is that you'll have some quarterbacks like, Patrick Mahomes that will, if I'm thinking it probably is him, but will pretend to slide and then keep running. Now, something like that should be a penalty because it's like you're giving yourself up, you're sliding. If you're going to manipulate that because the rules are in your favor so you can get more yards, then that's where I feel the integrity of the game is being ruined when you have someone that's going to manipulate those rules that are made to protect you. And that's the shit that pisses me off when someone just tries to take advantage of it and just makes it unenjoyable and makes you not want to root for them.
Yeah. Agreed.
Yeah. And I know exactly what play you're talking about. Like T West, do you know who it was and what game it was? It was a college game, wasn't it?
You know who it was? It was Kenny Pickett.
Okay.
He was quarterbacking Pitt.
Yeah.
And I think he tried to do it in the NFL once too.
Really?
Yeah. So when Kenny Pickett was the quarterback for Pitt a few years back, he did the fake slide and ran in for a touchdown.
I remember that play. I don't watch much college football, but I do remember that play. And that's the kind of stuff. Just like when you have someone that's just trying to take advantage, it's not fun. But going back to the concussion stuff, I remember Tua being asked by the media of like, "Are you gonna wear a guardian cap?" And he's just like, "No." Like he would rather sacrifice his brains just so he could look a little cool by not having this big dome on. But it's just like, dude, you've had how many concussions to the point, like you said, T.S., like his hands all like, arthritic looking because he got his head scrambled that much. Where it's just like, dude, if that was me, I'm wearing 2 guardian caps. I don't give a shit how nerdy I look. Like I want to protect my head. And it just blows my mind that it's basically like, I just want to look, I would rather look cool. And I mean, in my sick ass Dolphins gear, like for sure. I love those colors. I love it. But it's also just like, dude, like your brains are going to be scrambled eggs.
Yeah.
If you don't, it's kind of sad to see.
Has anybody checked on Antonio Brown? Is he okay?
I don't even know where he's at. He's probably somewhere in Florida, bath salts and all.
It's funny. Every once in a while, I'll get some screenshots from Alex. He'll like send it to Ben and I, and it's like a weird Antonio Brown tweet, and he always does the hashtag CTESPN. It's crazy. On next episodes of podcast, we should take the time to like just pull up some of the tweets or pull up that CBS promo of like the highlights of literally being everything that's in an illegal play now. Yeah, and we should just have a segment like that, just showing all this like weird, crazy stuff because it's a good laugh.
Oh God, it would be. It'd be like, oh my God, people will be dead now. No offense to Mar Hamlin, but anyway,
right.
I mean, Antonio Brown did more damage to that punter. I'm pretty sure he punted him right into CTE when he tried to jump over him, just like drop kicked him right in the grill. It looked like, or right in the chest, or whatever it was.
Probably my favorite Antonio Brown play was when he did drop kick the guy, the punter. Like that was epic. Yeah, he got flagged for it, rightfully so. But the fact that he tried it, it's like, okay, I'll give him that one. That's a
You know, I feel like Pat McAfee would settle for that. I
Oh,
feel like
no.
he would have leveled Antonio Brown. He don't play
Yes.
that. He don't play. But
Pat McAfee versus Antonio Brown would actually be pretty epic.
yeah,
So.
yeah. And Antonio Brown's exit is so weird. Just taking his shirt off,
Yeah, middle of the game.
the fingers, I'm
Middle of
out.
Bye, Felicia.
Like,
Done.
what a bizarre way to just like, all right, I'm done with football. Like,
Yeah.
Man.
That was it. Just gone. Haven't
I remember I was watching that game just live. Like before I had Red Zone channel, it was just on one of the channels I got, on my cable. It just watching the TV, just being like, really? This is happening? I've never seen anything like this. It's wild.
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy. And like Tom Brady was your quarterback with Tampa Bay. Like, where are you going? You're going to get the ball.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was 21 because Buccaneers won in 22 or in 20. Then in 21, I think, is when Antonio Brown's like, I'm out of here. So,
Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, shoot. Diving into the next one. That was quite the little sports thing. Sunday, though, those games. I got Red Zone. I full out had it on and was watching all that stuff. Were there any games that intrigued you guys?
Oh man, I got to think for a minute.
yeah, like thinking back, this is the game that it's not that it intrigued me, but it was just really cool to see. It was the game in Buffalo, the Niners versus the Bills. I grew up, right? You got Joe Montana, Jerry Rice, Steve Young, Jerry Rice going up against Jim Kelly, and Thurman Thomas and Reed. I forget Reed's first name.
Andre.
But thank you, Andre Reed. And like those are the games I grew up with. And you grew up with like the Mud Bowls, the Snow Globe games. This was a Huron snow game, and it was so fun to see. It took me back. Bills, Niners in the snow, just a ton of fun to watch it. Obviously, the Bills handled their business. They're actually a pretty good team. Josh Allen, MVP caliber quarterback. That was the game that stood out to me. So,
One thing about that game, I love it when they get hit in the snow and they just slide for like 10 yards.
yep.
That's the best.
Oh, for sure.
The one game I was very invested in for good reasons was Ravens versus Eagles. I was so locked in, just going back and forth. I mean, we're going to talk about it.
Why were you locked in?
We're going to talk about it. It's called fantasy football.
Okay.
We're going to talk about the league and everything, but
okay. All right.
Yep.
I should have figured.
Half my team was playing in that game. So very well invested. Guys did all right to get me another dub this week.
Yeah.
Just another one to add. But that was my game.
I'm going through the list of the games from last week, and like there really wasn't a game that really stood out to me. I mean, I thought the Buccaneers were going to manhandle the Panthers. That was kind of cool, I guess, overtime. But I'm looking at the stuff. I don't know. Nothing really stood out to me. So I guess I'll go with US. Like the snow game was kind of cool. But
it just felt good to see again. You don't see a lot of natural weather games anymore because the advancements in field turf and stadiums and things like that. You don't see muddy games because, obviously NFL football teams being a business, they don't want to keep paying to get new fields, so why not have that preventative field turf, and like the Packers have that synthetic. So knowing that we're not really going to get muddy games anymore, it's kind of nice to see an old school snow game. So
yeah.
That was so cool.
So the Bills, they're building a new stadium, isn't it? It's not going to be a dome though.
No,
pretty sure it's being open. Yeah, yep. I love that. Let's just keep that aesthetic of upper New York football.
Yeah,
and I mean, I swear they get the most snow everywhere in this country.
They really do. It's what they get like 2 feet before that game, something like that. It's like
something like that. Yeah,
we live in Wisconsin, and New York's getting hammered more than we are. So it's like, well, Luca, you live in Arizona, so it's like there's not snow down there at all. So,
I mean, up north, I can see it from 3 hours away, but not near it. Definitely not near it. But okay, diving into it, fantasy football. Just so people know, we're in a fantasy football league, very typical, but we have a little bit of a twist. We have a side bet. Now, there's
Yeah.
5 of us in the league that are participating in it this year out of the 10. Worst record has to do something of some sort. So I think it's safe to say we know who the loser is this year. It's your wife,
Yeah.
Katie T.
My wife,
West.
Katie. I don't think she's gonna pull
Yep.
it out. So
No,
So
I
her
don't
her
think
her
so.
thing that she has to do is she has to eat spam. Growing up, she ate. Her family made a lot of spam. We'll just say it that way, and it wasn't an option to not eat spam. So, needless to say, it got a very sore spot. So that was what she agreed to do, though. So she is going to have us cut up and fry up a piece of spam for her. If something should somehow happen where I lose, and this will continue on for the following years too, is like I'll get some sort of a tattoo somewhere. Of what we don't know yet. There's a couple different options flying around right now. Whether there was that weird hot dog in the forearm area, and
That was a mozzarella
that was
stick.
That was a
That's a
mozzarella stick.
It was a
stick.
mozzarella stick. So when
I
you open
used
your
the
arm,
cheesy
it's
hole.
the cheesy. Yeah,
Okay.
it's
Okay. Yep. So there's a couple different things going around right now, but that might be one of them. So,
And Luca, what's yours again?
Oh man, I gotta do a Wisconsin shot of whiskey. Wisconsin shot. For me,
Oh,
it's not that
God.
whiskey is like horrific. It's just like I have a gag reflex towards it. Like it gets close to me, it's just like instant like rejection. It's just one of those things. So why not watch me suffer a nice giant Wisconsin glass of whatever whiskey? I mean, save me with something stupid like Fireball at least. I mean, that I can choke down because it doesn't taste like whiskey. But if it's wild turkey, I'm done.
You're used to instant rejection, though, aren't you?
Ooh, wow! Only from you, buddy. Only from you.
Yeah. Well, fine. That's fine. We'll find a decent shot for you.
Yeah.
Right, and then Billy, what's your new one? Since you took last place last year, and you had to. What was it that you had to do?
First of all, it wasn't last place. It was the worst record. Did I take last place? I don't know.
Probably
I know I
suck.
I think it was the worst record. I don't think I
it
took
was
last,
worst
but yes, the bet was to eat sushi. I was so cocky. I was like, "There's no way I'm going to have a worse record than you or Veronica." And go figure, because the moment I get cocky is when it comes back and gets me. And then, yeah, unfortunately, I had to eat sushi.
Mind you, both me and V played against. Yeah, mind you, me and V played against each other in the Super Bowl. So like, ouch.
Yeah,
it didn't matter how good you did; it just wasn't good enough.
But yeah, it's like you want to get grocery store sushi. That's disgusting. That's like bottom feeder shit. And thank God, your cousin stays a day and gets me a piece that's actually like from a reputable place. Which I will say, I made the mistake of not just like putting it in, chomp, chomp, swallow. I put it in my mouth. I was just like, oh, the texture, and then I just like let it sit. Yeah. And then it's like it's just sitting there, and then I'm chewing, and then it's gross. It had good flavor, like the sesame seeds on it or whatever, and the soy sauce and all that. Great flavor, 10 out of 10. But then I just can't do cold. Wasn't raw, was it, or was it just cold?
Yeah, it's raw.
It was, yeah.
That's gross. That's gross. And it's just I had it in my mouth way too long. I chewed on it for way too long, and it just made it worse. So
yeah, you bathed your mouth in it. Like I think the video that we took was like 30 seconds of you just like going back and forth, torturing yourself.
I know it was the mistake I made was just not just plugging the nose and just but not my problem this year. I'm in second place.
Yep. Yes, you are.
Yep. We got this is our last week, and then we're going into playoffs. I'm of course playing like one of the worst teams, and my whole team has a bye this week since it's the Ravens and Eagles and whatnot.
Yep.
And well, I got a first round bye, sitting 12-1. I got no complaints. My team's looking like a juggernaut. Let's just hope they don't choke like normal in the playoffs.
Yeah, I was saying, what's your team name again? And what's the reason your team name is what it is?
Yeah. Best record, first loser, because what I think my overall like record in the Super Bowl is like 1-4, 1-5. Like
It's not
it's
great.
horrible. No,
Yeah,
it's not.
great.
I should
You're-
nickname my team the choke artist.
So you're the LeBron James of fantasy football. Like, you're
Yeah.
just
Got the most points. 1-1s.
So I am excited this year, though, that we finally all kind of came together and we bought a championship belt, right? Like, I'm excited to be able to ship that out to whoever wins it. If it is you, we'll ship it to Arizona. Anyone around here, we'll just take it by them and get some pictures. But it's kind of fun. I mean, I've been running this league for what? I don't know how many years.
oh
But
Shoot, over a decade. Well
Yeah.
over. We started back in like 2008
it's
or
been
something like
quite a
that.
while.
it was
Yeah.
when Aspen was a baby, because that was the
Yeah.
year I was having that tea party with her, and Luca took
Yep.
that unflattering photo of me.
Yep, and you won the ring that year.
That, and I still have that. You know what I should do? I'm gonna find it. It's somewhere, and I should have worn it to the draft. I gotta start flexing that shit.
You do. So next time we'll do a live draft again, and we'll have to have the winner of the belt bring the belt, sport it, wear it, whatever. You'll bring your fantasy ring, even if maybe you win the belt this year too. Whatever it looks like, but coming all blinged out. We'll have to do that for the live draft, and it'll be pretty fun.
Yeah. I
Now,
win. I'm coming strapped.
isn't it true that they're talking about moving up the NFL like 1 week, so like it actually starts on Labor Day weekend? Is that happening?
I haven't heard that yet. What I have heard is there's talks of going to an 18-game season.
Ooh.
So having 2 bye weeks. But what they would be looking to do is because you're moving this out a little bit more then with that second bye week and everything, this then pushes your Super Bowl to the day before President's Day or whatever that holiday is. So a lot of people will have that Monday off in February or whatever. So they're looking to do that. I don't know why they just don't do the Super Bowl on a Saturday.
I'm so in favor of that. I'm so
right.
in favor of that.
Saturday night, everyone still gets Sunday then to recoup, whatever that looks like. Because going back to work on Monday after a late Super Bowl is just like, bleh.
Yeah.
And then when the Chiefs win, it's even worse. So
yeah, true that.
Yeah.
Now that our wives pretty much determined that we're gonna have a Super Bowl party every year,
Yep.
it's like, yeah, we should for sure head off the next day.
Yeah. And I think I might just take off that Monday. Like, oh, it's a day.
I might have to, dude. I might have to too, man.
Yeah. So I think this is a really good segue because I need to go into something I'm going to call Conspiracy Corner. So let's put our thinking caps on real quick because I'm going to dive. This is my first segment regarding the NFL script writers and how history repeats itself. All right, you ready for this?
Okay.
Let's hear it.
So we're going to dive into the fact that this is the year the Packers should win the Super Bowl based on history and the NFL scriptwriters doing their best to lay out a script for us. A little bit of history. 1996, right? 97, technically the date. But the 96 season, the Packers, after 30 years, won Super Bowl 31. It was held in New Orleans. Okay, you got that. Yep. 14 years later, 2010, the Packers win again. This time it's in Texas. 14 years later, this year, 2024, guess where it's being held?
New Orleans.
Back in New Orleans, right?
Wow.
So there's a tie there. That's the first thing. But now what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you just a couple real quick stats I found looking back at 2010 versus 2024. So the only difference here is Aaron Rodgers would have been our starter for 3 years, Jordan Love our starter for 2 years. But what we got is by November 21st in 2010, the Packers were 7-3. By November 21st in 2024, the Packers are 7-3. Okay, the number 1 seed in this case was the team that everyone thought was going to win. Was in 2010 was the Atlanta Falcons. I think they were 11-1 at this point in that area. This year the number 1 seed is the Detroit Lions, and they're sitting at 11-1 right now. Okay, so everyone thinks they're the best team in the NFC and kind of destined to win. So next part about that is that looking at it, the Packers are currently the 6th seed. In 2010, the Packers were the 6th seed. They played the 2 seed. The 2 seed was the Philadelphia Eagles. This year, the 2 seed is the Philadelphia Eagles. Now, however, we wouldn't be playing the Eagles. The seeds are the same. Okay, so that's just a real quick glimpse of 2010 season and seeding and things like that, like how each team was doing. Now, if you take a look at, here's the other thing where the script writers kind of like to let it go, is if you look back at Super Bowl 56, the colors, this was the first time they introduced colors back into Super Bowl logos since Super Bowl 45. They had a bland template in Super Bowl 45 until 56. The colors of Super Bowl 56 were orange and yellow. The teams that played in the Super Bowl that year were the Cincinnati Bengals, orange, and the Los Angeles Rams, yellow. Super Bowl 57, the colors of the Super Bowl logo were green and red. The 2 teams that played there were the Philadelphia Eagles, who were green, and the Kansas City Chiefs, who were red. Super Bowl 58 was red and purple. So kind of throwing us off a little bit there, but there was purple on both sides of the logo, or I'm sorry, red on both sides of the logo. So you did have the Kansas City Chiefs red and the San Francisco 49ers red. Now, this year, the first logo that they gave us for Super Bowl 59, the colors were purple and green. Purple, the guess was going to be, there's a couple guesses here, but the main thought was going to be the Baltimore Ravens. The green was guessed to be either the Philadelphia Eagles or the Green Bay Packers. But then what they did with this logo is they threw in symbols that were symbolic to the logo of Super Bowl 31, being that it's in New Orleans. Okay. So a little bit of script writing there through the logos and a little bit of a conspiracy. So did the NFL script writers tell us who's going to the Super Bowl? Is it Ravens Packers? Ravens Eagles? Don't know. But that's where one of my conspiracy lies, is because the NFL, I do think, is kind of scripted. So, getting to the root here, I take this all the way back to 2001 when a little known New England Patriots team was able to win the Super Bowl right after the 9/11 happened. What better of a team than the New England Patriots to win the Super Bowl in 2001? And they weren't even projected to make the playoffs. Drew Bledsoe had gotten knocked out that year. Tom Brady came in, and then they won the Super Bowl. So lots of conspiracies in the NFL and its script writing.
Wow. So who wins? Is there a conspiracy of who wins, or is that going to be?
So this is the part I've kind of gone off this train a little bit. I was originally thinking that it was going to be Lamar Jackson versus Jordan Love, right? Because there you have 2 young quarterbacks. Lamar Jackson is a 2-time MVP without a Super Bowl ring. But now you got Jordan Love coming up, another $250 million star who they can put in a bunch of commercials. If they can have him be the next big thing, the next guy, because I think people are done with Pat Mahomes.
Oh, yeah.
The reason he's still relevant is because of Kelsey and Swift. But I do think the NFL needs a replacement, and it's going to be one of those 2 guys. It's not Jalen Hurts, because there's been a lot of controversy with Jalen Hurts all the way back to Alabama and Oklahoma, and then his issues with the coaches in Philadelphia. It's not Jalen Hurts. They need a star, and it's going to be Lamar Jackson or it's going to be Jordan Love. So the winner, I honestly, I think this time it would be Baltimore, just because guess who also doesn't have a ring? Derrick Henry, one of the best running backs we've ever seen. So the script writers give Lamar Jackson a 2-time MVP, Derrick Henry, all these guys. Harbaugh gets another ring. So I think it's them. But then I think you see a little bit of a run from the Packers, because it would be Jordan Love's 3rd year starting, and that was the same time Aaron Rodgers started. In his third year, he got a Super Bowl. So those are the parallels again.
Wow.
Damn.
So yeah, I'm a little bit of a conspiracy theorist that way on NFL script writing, but when they leave it out there for me to find it, I'm gonna be like, okay, it's pretty eerily close.
Makes you think.
Makes you think.
I'm fully down for Green Bay to win it. I mean, especially against Lamar Jackson. Like,
Oh, I am too.
that's my whole fantasy football team right there. Is the Ravens. I'm all in, and I draft Derrick Henry every single year. So seeing that guy just a beast of a player do good and win a Super Bowl, that'd be cool. But not against my Green Bay Packers. Like,
I mean, how great would it be though? Because as Packer fans, we should feel a little bit vindicated with the way Aaron Rodgers kind of treated the Packers organization. Like, I'll always be an Aaron Rodgers fan. I love watching Aaron Rodgers play football. But I feel we're a little bit vindicated being that he's playing the way he is, right? Like, Achilles out 4 minutes into his first season with the Jets. This year is just going completely off the rails. Wouldn't this be the year for them to get Jordan Love a Super Bowl as Aaron Rodgers is tanking and falling away?
and watch Aaron Rodgers say something like, "I would have done it quicker with that team." Pull Brett Favre.
See, okay, all right. Now, last topic before I'm done, because I've been talking for a while now. What I thought the scriptwriters were going to do this year is, because the New York Jets were supposed to win the East or be in the AFC East hunt, be a playoff team. But now this would have been the perfect script. Jordan Love versus Aaron Rodgers in Super Bowl 59.
Oh, man. Could you imagine?
Like, who wouldn't watch that? Who would not watch that? You'd get the most viewers ever.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, hands down.
The master and the protege.
Yeah, they missed out on Favre versus Rodgers. You know, it's like,
Yep.
how could you? Why would you not want Favre or love Aaron Rodgers versus Jordan Love?
Right.
I just think it would be that's the script to write.
That'd be something. I think that's a happy, feel-good story for everybody, especially when like the Jets like hearts get ripped out yet again in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Well, even now with like the Jets having Devontae Adams, it's like if that were to happen this year, it's just like, oh man.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Packer fan through and through, I would root for the Packers to win. But like, as a fan of Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams for what they did in Green Bay, it's like, oh, you would love to see them get another one, but not against the team we root for. So that would be tough.
Yeah.
Devontae doesn't have one, so for him to get one, I mean, guy's a beast. I mean, he deserves one.
Yeah, for sure.
He's gonna be a Hall of Famer, hands down. And if he isn't, that's jacked up.
Oh, okay. Quick thing. Sorry, another one. Because we're talking. Did you guys see the finalist for the Hall of Fame? Because you said Hall of Fame wide receiver.
The only thing I saw was that Mike Holmgren was nominated for coach. I haven't seen anything else.
So Mike Holmgren and Sterling Sharp are both finalists to make it to the Hall of Fame.
Oh,
So,
come on, Sterling. Oh,
Sterling
come on,
Sharp,
Sterling.
as a football player, should be in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, hands down.
I'm a little like, he was my favorite football player of all time. I got his jersey hanging behind me. However, he was definitely, he was kind of an asshole I just tried talking to him and saying thank you for inspiring, my love of football and wanting to coach youth football and help kids out and things like that. Wouldn't even lift his head up and look at me. So as a person, I'm a little disappointed, and maybe it was a bad day. I don't know, but my interaction with him was not good. But as a football player, get that man in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, yeah. That's a shame. Your experience meeting someone like that, like someone you looked up to in your childhood, ends up not being pleasant in real life. And you said maybe he's having a bad day, but that's one of those things where you're a public figure, you're an athlete, you have hundreds of people there lined up to not only see you, but to pay to see you.
Right.
You need to suck it up and put a smile on your face. And the fact that he didn't is quite the bummer, because you ask anybody younger than us in our generation who's Sterling Sharp is, and they're gonna be like, I don't know.
Right.
They may know who his brother is because he is on TV, but they're not. He should be fortunate that people showed up for that. It's kind of sad that he was an asshole like that to you. So
it definitely
that sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. I've talked a lot. Thank you for making it through my first segment of the conspiracy theory or the conspiracy corner, I'm going to call it. So I appreciate the thinking caps, fellas.
Thanks
I
for sharing.
want this to come true, dude. Like now you got me going. I'm like, all right, it could
If
happen.
this comes true, I don't even know what I'll think. My mind will like my brain will explode.
That would be pretty amazing. I'm not going to lie.
And I may officially believe that the NFL could be possibly rigged / scripted if
It's
that does happen.
Yep. For sure.
I believe it so much. I'm putting my whole 401k on the Packers to win the Super Bowl after we're done here.
All right.
You do that.
Hey, it's only like $25. It's not that much.
I'm going to call V and still tell her to not let you do that. So
Too late. Already did.
that's fair.
But all right. And then what do we got next? We had we're not going to talk about Formula One. Let's be honest. The season's already over. This guy named Max Verstappen from the Netherlands has already won it, even though there's still a race left. It doesn't make sense at all. But do me a favor, guys. Netflix. I'll let you guys know when it is, but there's a show called Drive to Survive. It's how all these Americans have gotten into Formula One. Just watch it. This year for Drive to Survive is going to probably be the most epic season of just drama and just on the edge of your seat. And I hope by the end of the season of watching it, you guys are like, all right, I got to check out this race. And plus, this guy over here, he's kind of funny. I think I like him. I think I'm going to root for him. So it sounds like my driver, mine and Veronica's driver, is going to be retiring at the end of the year or be without a ride at the end of the year. Is yet to be confirmed, but it's speculation. So Checo, Sergio Perez, he's one of the guys on one of the good teams. So if he's gone, gonna really, really suck. But hey, time to find a new driver or somebody to cheer for. Keep watching. So I'll get you guys into that once that pops up. But
I'm a big fan of the Toretto family racing cars. So
flying on helicopters and jumping and canyons and
Fieros in the space. Come on.
I mean, that's realistic. Let's not get out of hand here. That could theoretically happen. If you can turn a Fiero into a Ferrari, why not a spaceship?
Okay, hold on a minute. And something just jogged my memory back from the high school days. Didn't you want to buy a Fiero and turn it into a kit car, and you were telling people that you're going to get a Lamborghini?
Yeah, that might have happened. It's because the guy already had the kit there, and he had the Fiero. Like he had just started. I was like, heck yeah, he wants to sell this whole entire thing for like $10K. That sounds like a good idea. And it was a Lambo kit, and I was like, I don't even know how that works. Okay.
Everything sucked about you. Everything sucked about you that year at school. Because all you did was walk around telling people how you're getting a Lamborghini. And then me, not knowing what a kit car was at the time, just like, how's he get a Lamborghini? Like, we're in high school. Because you were so convincing telling people that you were getting a Lamborghini. And turns out it was a Fiero.
Yeah. People didn't need to know about that.
That brought back all memory.
Yeah, I forgot about that. Thanks for bringing it back. I didn't need to have that pop up.
Oh, it's documented now.
Yeah, fuck.
It was all from the funds from Excel. Not gonna lie.
No, fuck you guys. All right. This just in: the Bucks won 128-107 in group play for the NBA Cup. So sounds like they're automatically in because they got the win.
Yep,
Nice.
They're going to the knockout rounds now.
Yep.
Awesome.
So that's good. Don't have to worry about it, point differentials or any of that stuff.
Cool.
Next episode, can we discuss what the fuck's up with the Bucks? Like, was Adrian Griffin really the problem last year? Is Doc Rivers really the answer? Was Mike Budenholzer really the problem? I think we need to talk about the Bucks.
Maybe next time we talk basketball rather than football. That time we switch it up because that'd be good to dig into. I'd be curious to know too.
I'm wearing all my Bucks gear right now. I was so ready to talk about the Bucks today, and I'm all decked out in Giannis, and I didn't even think about it. Well, I got the game on my phone. Didn't think about it one bit.
Well, okay. Well, let's shift a little bit. Let's talk about that Bucks hat because that is rad. I love the old school logo. I love the purple.
Yep.
Got that string around. You're like, that's a nice hat.
Yeah. Shout out to Moda 3 in Milwaukee. They have some of the sickest hats. I think I've been going there for how many years now? At least at least 6.
Yeah.
I mean, we went there for during your bachelor party. I think that was my first time. Like, I'm like, what?
Yep.
What is that? And we quickly ran over there. I think I dropped $100 in merch within minutes. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that place is sick. If Moda 3 ever watches this, thank you, and keep making badass gear like Bucks, Brewers, Green Bay Packers, like you name it. Like
I could drop so much money there.
Yeah,
let's just put this out there. A BRP Moda 3 hat.
Oh, the burp being sold at Moda 3.
Hey, if it's a flat brim snapback, done. I'm done. I got it.
Yeah, no, hats are definitely something that we need to talk about going forward because it's Moda 3, but then like you see all the stuff coming out of like 47, like New Era and just all the stuff that's coming out. I want to talk about there's some hats out there that are like mimic the NFL helmets. I want to get thoughts on that. We definitely need to talk about hats in one of these episodes too.
Yeah, that would be cool.
So, I actually found a couple of good ones. This is also a little shameless plug, not for Moda 3, but for shopgoodwill.com. I type like Mitchell and Ness in there in the search bar, and you actually have quite a few really cool vintage things. And if you look hard enough, you can actually find people that are giving away vintage 90s hats, some other cool stuff like that you don't see anymore. So, little plug for shopgoodwill.com. I found a lot of cool stuff on there, whether it's helmets and but yeah, check that out too. But hats, helmets, headwear, all of it. So
nice.
I still do have my Super Bowl 31 hat. Might have to whip that out for Super Bowl this year.
Yep.
Might be worth it.
Hope so. Hoping so.
Right.
All right, so let's preview our next thing. We're going to talk a little bit about Milwaukee Bucks basketball, what's going on there. We got some hats to talk about. What else do we want to talk about? I think here's one, and I know, Billy, this might be more up your alley. Music. We didn't even touch on music today. Maybe we try to get a little bit of that. Like, what's one band that didn't make it that we loved, would have seen come, stay around?
Sure. That sounds good. I'll throw another option. I'm gonna go back to the basketball thing. We've talked about this offline, but if we're be talking basketball, we got to talk about awesome throwback 90s uniforms.
Oh,
yeah. We gotta put our ranking together.
Yep.
Music thing is awesome for sure. But I had to just like we gotta talk about unis.
Okay. I'm perfectly good with that. We can do a whole thing on basketball. I mean, I guarantee you that would take up time. Just talking about old school logos, jersey. Yeah. What's going on today? Are we cool with LeBron James and the flopping and how he changed the game for the worse and stuff like that. So
right. And then to comment on music, one of us might be going to a concert this weekend, so might have some insight on that one. Come back next Tuesday.
Nice.
I'll let you know if I can hear anything. So that'll be interesting. Ears might still be ringing.
Dude, we're old now. You have to put earplugs in.
No, I'm just gonna stand in the back, like not even in the mosh pit or anything like that. I'm just gonna stand way in the back by the bar and just like nod my head and ask for another beer.
Yeah.
There you go. Just enjoy it. Enjoy being there.
If anybody asks, my kids are in the mosh pit.
Well, fellas, I think this was a great pilot episode 1 of the Burp. A lot of good discussion, and it's only going to get better.
I was just going to say that. I feel like it's just going to get better. We'll get a groove. It'll be a good time. Looking forward to it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, this is a lot of fun.
Yep. To anybody listening, feel free to comment your thoughts and your opinions as well. Comment on YouTube. We're going to have stuff below, so feel free. We're always looking for comments. Yes, I'm fat. You don't have to call me out. So we can move on from there. Comment on other things. So yeah, let us know. Let us know your thoughts and opinions. Happy to talk about it too. So
Yeah, definitely things you like, things you'd like to hear us talk about, any questions you have, you name it, throw
Yeah.
it out there. Suggestion board is wide open, wide open.
Yeah, what they said.
All right. So for Bildo, Luca, T West, peace out.
See you, everyone.